I was like, I went outside that day, right? Because the weather was very clear. And then the moment I went out, it started raining. But I was like, oh, I need to do like photography for like this one thing. And then I waited for like 30 minutes just for a tricycle to come. Actually, it was longer than 30. It was probably 45. So I was already exhausted. And then I got in the tricycle, and then the tricycle, like, they had to fix their wheels, so we had to get out of the tricycle while in the rain. And then I finally arrived, like, on the plaza after like an hour because the traffic was horrible. And then it started raining really bad already, so I had to have, like, you know, when you put like your umbrella just like by the door, so like not the door but by the opening of the tricycle, so you don't get rained at. The problem was I was sitting at like the small seat of the damn tricycle, so my entire back was wet because, like, even though the tricycle driver had the cover, it was like there was still like water seeping through it, so like my entire back was like just really really wet. And I just like I was just like, you know what, this is my fate now. It is what it is. So and then everybody else like left like got off the tricycle, right? Because it was going to the plaza, but they weren't going there. So when they all got off, I was like, okay, I finally have the big seat to myself. I sat down at the big seat, and then for some goddamn reason, okay, let me show you guys a little illustration. For some goddamn reason, right? Okay, this was the road. That was like this. Okay, it's not focusing. Focus. I'll just illustrate it really big. This is the sidewalk. This is the road, so it was kind of like an intersection thing. And then since the rain is really hard, there's like flood to the point that you can't see this anymore. You can't see the distinction. So when the tricycle went over here, right? Like it went over there. There was this person in the side of the pedestrian. They were walking. They fucking tripped. They tripped because when they got here, it was like the road is like a bit lower than the sidewalk. Water splashes, and somehow while the tricycle was like moving, because there was no traffic here, it was just moving. The water fucking hit my face. Somehow, the trajectory of the water just hit me. So not only was I wet from behind, my face was also wet. It's not done yet, so this is so okay, so this is kind of a roundabout. It doesn't matter. So basically, right, water got splashed in front of my face, and kuya, there's more. There is a 7-Eleven here, okay? I was supposed to go here, but kuya didn't hear me, and he already turned here. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna get off here. I got off here. I got off at this point, but then it was like, oh shit, there's no tricycles here. Because it was one way. It was only this direction, right? So I was like, okay, I'm gonna... And then the water here is like really strong. The current here is really strong. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna cross the road. I crossed the road. I got here. And I realized like there's no other way. I'm gonna have to go back. So then I crossed the road again, right? And I ended up here, and there was a bit of like land I can walk on. And then eventually it was gone. So I was like, shit, I'm gonna have to walk through the flood. And guess what were my shoes was? My shoes were these type of shoes. I cannot draw, guys. It was the open type. So like the rain could go in, or like the flood can easily go in. And it was my favorite shoes. It was my favorite shoes, by the way. My favorite white shoes that I love, that was low-key expensive. It got wet because I had to walk through here. I'm not done. I'm gonna have to restart a bit. Okay, so I got through, right? And I was finally at this point. And then I found a tricycle. I was like, kuya, dito nga po ako sa cafe na to, tapat po ng gasolinahan. I don't know where it was. I just know it was like in front of like a gas station. And So, and it was like really traffic. Shoot, yes, it was my favorite pair of shoes. So then I rode the tricycle, right? They had, okay, so basically to get there, there's usually this road that you can just take, but it's like really traffic because it was awasan ng mga estudyante. Everybody was going home. So then they had to take this long ass route where they took like so much detours to the point that like it was a bit far. It's like a bit farther, but there's no traffic. Like that's the payoff. The problem was, right, by the time we exited the exit, the place I was going to is really like it's kind of flooded, not really flooded, but kind of flooded. Like your shoes are gonna be wet. The fucking cars just keeps driving and splashing the damn tricycle. So guess what? Now the bottom part of my dress is also wet. What? The tricycle's driver is also getting mad because they're like, di ba marunong mag-drive tong mga anong to, nababasa na kami. So I'm like, okay, my back is wet, my face is wet, and now my dress is wet. Okay, it's fine. And then eventually, I got to a gas station. I saw the gas station and I was like, Kuya, dito na po sa gilid. Pababa na po ako dito. Alam niyo kung saan ako binaba ni Kuya? Kung saan nagasa yung baha. There was just a big baha here. And then he just dropped me off there. So I gave him my money and he was still like, no ba yan? Dapat 100 na yung hiningi ko sa inyo. Even though I asked him like, Kuya, how much there? And then they were like 80. I was like, okay, sure, 80. But they were still like sa 100 and I'm like, okay. At least I got off. And then when I got off there, I had to jump over to like, you know, to the part where there's like no flood. So I was standing there. I was looking at the gas station and I realized I dropped myself off at the wrong place. I was at the wrong place. So you can see what happened here. Wait, let me explain what happened here. This is the gas station, right? This was like the subdivision where my friend lives. This is where my friend lives and we always go here. And I only go to this place to go to her place. So like I got confused because turns out the cafe is like 200 meters away. It was like still here. And this is the gas station I was thinking about. It was like a bit more farther. So I was here and I was like, I only have 1,000 pesos. I can't ride the tricycle. Like the money I paid, the 80 pesos I paid the kuya was all in barya. It was like 20, 10, 5. I had, and then piso. I had no more money. So then I was like, okay, smart idea. It was not smart. Spoiler alert. Okay, I was here now, and the cafe is all the way over there. Now, I saw those shops. One of it was like a Frank's Burger. It was a Frank's Burger. And I was like, I'm just gonna get myself change. There was a dali here. I would have bought from the dali, but I had to cross like the baha. And I was like, okay, I'm not gonna cross the flood. So I went here. The ate was really kind, by the way. So I said, I was looking at the prices. Everything is cheap because it's a Frank's Burger. It's meant to be affordable, right? The most expensive thing I saw was like 79 pesos. I'll explain later. Okay, it was 79 pesos. And I was like, okay, I'll just take 2 of those. And I was like, ate, dalawa nga po nung Frankie's footlong. Footlong. I didn't realize I was ordering a footlong because I was just going off the price. So, she was like, dalawa or dalawang order? And I was, dalawa po. So, she cooks up dalawa. And turns out, nakalagay doon, buy one, take one. It was buy one. Wait, let me show you guys a photo. Let me find a photo. Hold on. I sent one to my friend. I only realized by mistake, right? When ate was taking out the boxes and she took out 4 boxes and I was like, oh shit, that's not gonna fit my bag. That's not gonna fit my bag? That's like way too big. Okay, wait. Okay, I found the photo. Hold on, guys. Let me just grab it real quick. Image. Browse. This is what it looked like. It might seem small in the photo, but this is like the length, half the length of the table that I had it on. And imagine I had 4 of that. I had 4 of that. So my ass had 4 of these, right? I'm just talking about my girl failures. Okay. I had 4 of these, like 4 of that. And then ate was like, bigyan nyo nga ng plastic to. Like, cause then, there was no way I was gonna walk through the store without that. Like, they had to give me like the industrial plastic that they kept in the bag. Cause they had no other plastic for that. See, this is my first time getting Frank's. Cause I've only gone to Angel's and Minute Burger. So, do not slander her like this. It's why I didn't know that it was gonna be like that. Also, I wasn't thinking because I just needed money. And it was a fucking hot dog. I usually buy burgers, but the burger was too cheap. And I was like, oh no, they might not have sukli for this. Okay. It's not done. It's not done yet. My suffering's not done. Let's say this is the path. This is the cafe, okay. I was here at Frank's Burgers. It's not focusing anymore. Hold on. Here we go. I was there in Frank's Burger. I walk a little here, and it was like still smooth because it's a sidewalk. Ang problema is the subdivision I was talking about has like a big arch, which would mean this is drop off. Oh, before even that, there was like another drop off part here. And it was like, I had to test it with my shoes and I was like, it was still fine. And then when I got here, it's like the big drop off because the cars need to get there. So it's like the height of the road. And at that point, I was like, I either need to cross the road to get a tricycle, but like there's no spot to get a tricycle. Like how like this is an open this is also like where you go here, so there's no tricycles there. This is just fully baha. Like this entire spot was just big baha. While this had like a smaller baha. So the baha here was going like this. It was going to the subdivision. And when I checked it, right, it was like the height of my shoes. And I was like, you know what? I've come to the point where my shoes are already wet. I'm already fully wet. I'm just gonna run through it. I fucking ran through that shit. The problem was a jeep comes through. Not splashing stuff ako. So like my shoes were like more wet than they had to be. And at that point, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna wash them. I'm just gonna have them washed. At this point, I don't give a fuck anymore. So I ran through the entire part. There's still the sidewalk. Okay, I finally arrived at, and then there's another drop off. Oh my god, it's the same one because there's another route here where you can go like left. And it was it's not a road. It's like the bato with the grass. So it's muddy, and then like it's also like, and then it's also like and it's also supposed to be flooded, right? So this entire bit was flooded. And then I arrived at the gate, and the gate was closed. I had to knock to my uncle. And then they were like, oh, come over to the other side instead. They opened the door there, and it's the part where it's like flooded, right? So I was like, shit, I'm gonna have to go through the flooded again. I don't think they know that it's flooded. You also, how you doing? But it's flooded, right? I got to the thing, and then one last time, I had to go to the flood, and then I stepped on the grass. There was a bit of grass for safekeeping, and then I was finally able to arrive to the damn place. And when I arrived there, I'm not close to my uncle at all. So I was just like at the corner of the room trying to dry myself off.